Hi, my name is Michael Tipper, and I want to ask you this question. Do you find yourself overwhelmed by the massive amount of information you have to deal with on a daily basis? Do you find yourself pressured to meet deadlines? Do you find yourself overwhelmed by what you have to do? Well, you'll be pleased to know, or maybe not, that you are like the majority of people working in today's environment. But let me ask you this question. What would you have done if last year you could have had an extra 3 weeks onto your year? So December the 31st, what would you have done with those extra 3 weeks? Now, if 3 weeks doesn't sound enticing to you, how about an extra 2 days a month, or maybe an afternoon a week, or maybe an hour a day? Does that sound possible for you? Well, it is possible for you when you know how. And what I'm going to do in the next 24 hours is I'm going to be taking a group of people through my workshop called the Hour a Day Workshop to show them exactly how they can find an hour a day. So what I'd like you to do is come with me on this journey, and I will tell you a few things along the way that will show you how you too can find that hour a day. So here I am at Didcot Parkway Station, waiting for my train to head into London to work with my client tomorrow. And I have mentioned earlier on that it is possible for you to find an hour a day in your busy schedule. So you might be thinking, well, is that possible for me? Well, the answer is yes, it is possible for you, because there are many people who are doing that, who can find that time. And the reason why you probably don't have that extra time in your schedule these days is for a number of reasons. First of all, it's likely that the productive and efficient strategies that you've used in the past may not be as effective in today's environment. Another reason is you may not have the information that is working today. And thirdly, you may have just drifted into bad habits that mean that you aren't as productive as you possibly could be. So what I'm going to do over the rest of the trip is just share with you a few pointers for you to look at about how you can find that extra time. So I'll see you probably on the train. Okay, the first thing that you need to think about, having decided that it is possible for you, and it is possible for you to find this extra time, is exactly what is it that you want to be able to use that time for. You need to have absolute clarity. What are you going to use that time for? So if you could have that extra hour a day, afternoon a week, 2 days a month, or 3 weeks a year, what would you do with that? Think about that and write that down, and I'll be with you in a second. Okay, I'm in the taxi now, heading over to my hotel, and what I want you to think about now, having decided what you're going to do with that time, I assume that you've chosen whether it's going to be an afternoon a week, an hour a day, 2 days a month, or 3 weeks a year, and all those, they're at exactly the same amount of time, just depends how you aggregate them. Having decided that, you now need to put it in your diary to make it happen. If you're going to go on holiday, it's probably in your diary, and I bet you do all sorts of things to make sure that happens. It's the same with this time. If what you want to use this time is important enough, if you put it in your diary, it will happen, but you must put it in there, because it's not in there, things will slip, and it will never happen. So the first tip is, put it in your diary. Hi, it's Michael here again. I've arrived at my hotel, I've checked in, and now I want to talk to you about how we're going to find this time. There are only 24 hours in the day, and I'm saying you can find another hour. How are you going to do that? Well, here's what you've got to do. The first thing you have to do is there are things you need to stop doing to release some of that time. Then there are things you should start doing that will make your time more efficient, more productive. And thirdly, there are things you're doing at the moment that you should start doing differently in order to make better use of your time. So stop things, start things, and start doing things differently. That's what you have to do in order to release that time. What I'm going to do very shortly is give you a couple of ideas for each of those so that you too can start finding that extra time. Hi, it's Michael here, and I've just arrived at the venue, having had a very interesting taxi drive as someone didn't know where they were finding themselves. And I'm here in the heart of the Docklands. So, what sort of things do you need to stop doing? Well, think about this. If you are allowing email to dominate your life, and every time one comes in you deal with it, that is one of the biggest challenges to productivity in this day and age. So the first thing you should stop doing is stop responding every time an email comes in. Schedule time so that you only ever deal with emails at a particular time. Ideally at lunchtime or maybe the end of the day, not first thing in the morning, because you'll find yourself checking your emails, doing lots of small, easy-to-do tasks that aren't really that important related to the bigger things you have to deal with, and all of a sudden the morning has gone and you've not really focused on your major tasks. So the thing you should stop doing is allowing email to dominate your life. So here I am at Didcot Parkway Station, having just returned from London, and I want to share with you now what sort of things you can start doing in order to find that hour a day. Here's a really, really strong tip. If at the end of the working day you write out the 5 things you must do the following day, and have that ready for you on your desk when you arrive at work tomorrow, and start at number 1 and keep working through until all 5 are finished, you will find yourself far more productive. By planning the day before, what you do overnight, particularly if you've got something a little bit chewy or something that needs a little bit of creativity, your subconscious works on it while you're asleep, and in the morning you'll find all sorts of amazing ideas come out for that. But when you arrive at work the following day, you know exactly what you're going to do and you get on with it. You don't allow any distractions to get into place. You don't check your email, you don't make the phone calls, you just get on with that task, and you will find doing that will make you far more productive. Brian Tracy talks about eating your frog, and he's got a great book called Eat That Frog, and that's all about doing the worst thing first, the thing that is really that you know is the most important thing you must do, is possibly the hardest thing you must do. Get that out of the way first, the rest of it will be a breeze. Try that and see how that works. Okay, so now that I've arrived back at my office, what are the things that you should be doing differently? Well, the major thing that you really need to focus on is how you read and handle information. Unfortunately, because of the way the majority of us have been taught to read, it's an inefficient process that wastes time and allows things to happen like getting to the bottom of a page, not being able to remember it, like being distracted, and generally just having a poor reading capability. Although we don't realise it because everyone else has the same, so we assume it's normal. But actually what you need to understand is that your reading ability can far surpass anything that you've ever achieved before once you understand a few basic principles of how your eyes work and how the brain works in tandem with that. With a bit of practice you can double, treble, even quadruple your reading speed. But more than that, you need to develop a range of strategies to allow you to filter information very swiftly so you can find exactly what it is you need to discard and exactly what it is you need to deal with. Those are the things you need to start doing differently. So over the last 24 hours I've been sharing with you some ideas that can show you how to find that elusive hour a day. If you want to find out how you can benefit from this information directly, then please do contact me at the website www.thehouradayworkshop.co.uk. If you visit that site, you'll find out more information about the format and the follow-on support that allows you to find that time. So look forward to seeing you there.